Well, it has been one hell of a year so far in 2025. What does the rest of the year hold for us in the United States of America? Well, one man knows it better than anything because he studies the trends. He's not a soothsayer. He just studies all of the movements that are happening, and that is Gerald Celente. He is the chief executive officer of the Trends Journal, something that I read every week, and it's in my inbox. And we always love to kind of check in with Gerald to get a sense of where things are heading in this year. You've been nailing it left and right. I mean, certainly, my gosh, one of the big stories, of course, Gerald, that you nailed was gold. And we're seeing this now. We're seeing the devaluing of the U.S. dollar and gold just hitting a brand new all-time high. That's just one of the things that you've been forecasting over the past couple of years. So, Gerald, welcome back to the show. Great to see you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. And thank you so much for what you do. I mean, the people you have on and how you speak out in terms of what I guess what they used to call life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's all gone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being on with you.
My pleasure. And I should say, before we get into some of the forecasting for the rest of the year, I want to make this point. You're holding a big peace rally this weekend. You're going to have some incredible guests there. Can you tell us about the peace rally?
Yeah, over a decade ago, I launched a movement called Occupy Peace. And each year I have peace rallies. And this year we have Judge Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Joe Lauria from Consortium News, Garland Nixon, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Waters is going to be doing a live streaming, and others at the most historic Four Corners in America. It's up in Kingston, New York. It's the only place with pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings. I own 3 of them. And the seeds of democracy was sown here. I went for jury duty, and the guy putting on the show said, "You see that picture over my shoulder?" He said, "That's John Jay. The first Supreme Court judge was a judge over here." And he said, when Kingston was the capital of New York State, the British burnt it down after the Battle of Saratoga. He said over 70% of the Constitution that was written for New York State, right over here, is America's Constitution. So I bought these buildings because the seeds of democracy were sown here. I was looking to leave the country back in 2010 because I hate the politics and the war. And I realized there's no place to go. I'm only me because I'm a Napolitano, born in the Bronx. So I bought these buildings because of that, and the seeds of democracy were sown here. So I'm trying to do the best I can because it breaks my heart to see the murder going on in front of everybody's eyes. Murder in the first degree. I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. I want that guy Assad out. Oh, I forgot. That was a Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama. We got to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. Little Georgie Bush with a pair of cojones smaller than well, if he has any at all. 90% of the people swallow the crap coming out of that craphead's mouth. Keeps on going, keeps on going. So if the people don't unite for peace, we're going to die in war. You see what's going on? Hey, what just happened the other day with Trump? Remember, hey, you elect me, I'm going to let Ukraine war in 24 hours, all right? All right? Hey, now that I'm elected, that war's going to end before I take office, all right? All right? What did he say this week? I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. Oh, that's not what he said a couple of weeks ago. Oh, that's in a couple of weeks ago. I forgot. He always flip-flops. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Quote, Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. Russia making them look like a paper tiger. Oh, wait a minute. It took 3.5 years, and a real military power would have won in a week. Hey, got sown. How about the Vietnam War? Oh, that only lasted 8 years. Oh, we lost that, didn't we? I forgot about the Iraq War that we lost. What about the Afghan War, the longest war in American history that we lost? Oh, and Trump, I'm the same age as Trump. He's a couple of months older than me. Draft dodging. 5 draft affirmance. I got a bone spur on my ankle. I can't go fight. But yeah, well, let's kill anybody anywhere. Where is the outrage of the people? Where is it? So anyway, that's what's going on.
It's like, I'm with you, man. I mean, I'm 100%. It's like, where are the peace rallies in the United States? Where are the protests? Where are the large calls on Washington, D.C. to end these incredible proxy wars that we keep funding and killing? 1.8 million Ukrainians now dead by all accounts. Just keeps going. Just keeps going. How many more need to die?
Money to do it. Stealing our money, get to work. I want your money, taxpayer money, so I can give it to genocide over there in Israel. Oh, that's not my language now. That's the official language that it's a genocide. But get to work, everybody. I want to steal your dough. Oh, again, Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star president, Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, right? 2-term president. He says, we can read it. The military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. And one of my sayings is, when all else fails, they take you to war. And you go back, World War II, Great Depression was going on. Again, you could Google up, well, I'm not going to go into it. You could Google it up. History today, Franklin Roosevelt seizes all Japanese assets because those dirty Japanese invaded French Indochina. Cut off 3/4 of their trade and 88% of their oil. Can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor. Again, what followed the dot-com bust? Again, which we forecast in the Trends Journal. In the fall of 1999, we said it crashed by the second quarter of 2000. NASDAQ down 80%. War on terror. Everybody forgot about it. What's going on in Israel? 39 weeks of judicial protest because of Netanyahu's Judicial Reform Act. Not my language, the language of Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, back in 2023. We are in a civil war in Israel. Hamas attacks, everybody forgot. I'm just saying, when all else fails, they take you to war. And what Trump is saying now about Ukraine, we go to war against Russia, it's going to be the end of life on Earth. Nuclear annihilation.
So let's go through we've got a few months here left in 2025, and the latest Trends Journal, which I'll have linked up. If people want to subscribe, we'll have it linked up in the description box. I think it's like for less than $1 a week or something like that. You can subscribe to the Trends Journal. Again, I read it every week. I think what you guys do is incredible because, again, you're not just soothsaying. You're actually looking at the data and you're pulling all of these forecasts together. One of the things you've been focusing on is obviously the economic and market front. New jobless claims, cutting of the interest rates, not only in the United States, but in Canada, and moving away from a cash-based society into a digital society. So can you talk about that? Let's just talk about the economy first. What are you guys forecasting for the rest of the year into 2026?
You know, I've been at this for 45 years. As you know, I have best-selling books, Trends 2000, Trend Tracking, magazine since 1991. Never before one of our top trends was wildcard. Anything goes right now. Putting things into perspective. The markets are being driven up. There's no relationship between Wall Street and Main Street. You're talking about the jobs that are being created, by the way, are in social services, healthcare, hospitality, low-paying jobs. And you saw the numbers, they're very low. So the equity markets have absolutely nothing to do with Main Street. Wall Street and Main Street are two different things. The markets are being driven up by a small number of stocks, particularly in the NASDAQ. You go back to our Trends Journal in January 28th of this year, dot-com bust 2.0. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. AI was just born 3 years ago when it became big. You don't invest all your dough in an infant. Again, we put the facts together. Before Bill Clinton brought China into the World Trade Organization, they officially came in 2 weeks after 9/11, 10% of Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. Today, nearly 70%. This is a country of 1.4 billion versus 347 million. China is investing very heavily in AI. AI is the future. Love it, hate it, want it, don't want it, makes no difference. In trend forecasting, it's not what you want, what you like, it's what is. AI is the future. China's going to lead in it. Again, we write about this in the Trends Journal week after week. They're making no dough in the AI world. They're losing money. There's going to be a dot-com bust that's going to crash the markets. It's already starting to be shown, and people are now starting to finally talk about it. So, again, look what just happened with China, getting NVIDIA out of there. Look at the money they're investing. What happened with DeepSeek? A tiny little company over there in China that spent $6 million for their AI and not $100 million. And we don't need those big chips. So that's what we're concerned about. There's going to be a market crash. Trump is going to do everything he can to keep lowering interest rates. He did it before. He'll do it again. Again, we only go by the facts. Go back to 2018 when he was president. The Dow had its worst December since the Great Depression. The worst December since the Great Depression. He got little Jerome Powell, the Fed head, then and now, cut interest rates. They cut them in January of 2019. They cut them now, they're going to cut them again. The lower interest rates fall, the deeper the dollar falls. The deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go. Again, you're looking at gold prices going up this year, what, 40%? Here, this is one of my books, Trend Tracking. Far better than Megatrends Time magazine, all right? I write about how I became a political atheist and started investing in gold in 1978 when the Iranian conflict began, and they taught us to hate Iran without any 99.9% of the people having no idea how the United States overthrew the democratic elected government of Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953, because he had the nerve to say the oil in Iran does not belong to Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. It belongs to the Iranian people. No, it doesn't. They overthrew the government, brought in the Shah, the dictator, the Savak, the secret police, killed tens of thousands of people. So when the revolution happened, I knew it was real. And I said, what'll happen? And that's when I became a political atheist. Didn't believe in either party. I said, I bet gold and oil prices go up. And my first buy of gold was $163 an ounce. As we're speaking, it's what, $3,700 and about $40 an ounce? It hit almost 3,000.
Yeah, JP Morgan, Bank of America are all predicting well over 4,000, either $4,500 an ounce. I've seen some estimates at $6,000 an ounce for gold.
Again, the world is saying how bad the geopolitical and socioeconomic conditions are. It's right in front of everybody's eyes. But again, we did it in the magazine this week. We listed everything coming out of CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, hardly a peep or no peep about it as gold prices are spiking. You know what the language was last Friday when gold prices went up? I forgot how much, like $40. I forget the exact number. This was the headline in CNBC. Gold prices drift higher. Drift?
Drift higher.
Not a word in Financial Times on the weekend edition. It was the last paragraph on the last page of Monday's Wall Street Journal when gold prices went up. I forgot, like $40 or $50 or $60. The last paragraph on the last page under the market conditions. One little paragraph on the last page. They don't want the people to know how bad it is because they want to keep selling the lie that the equity markets are telling you how wonderful times are.
So gold continues to skyrocket. More interest rates cuts are coming, further devaluing the U.S. dollar, and you predict a massive dot-com bust 2.0 because of the AI bubble that we're about to see. And you've been predicting that for months. I remember your Trends Journal from months ago saying AI bubble would hit, and now more and more people seem to be talking about it and paying attention to it. So that's on the economy. Maybe we could talk about where things go with the Israeli war. And you deep dive this in your most recent Trends Journal, but It seems like Iran is rebuilding a bunch of their sites right now. We got word of that yesterday. We heard from President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, who's the real president of the United States, of course, that we got them. We set their nuclear program back decades, and they're good to go. But all indications seem to be, and according to you, that we are going to be going to war with Iran. It's just only a matter of time. So maybe you can talk about the Israel war and the Middle East mess right now as a forecast.
Oh, by the way, one of our other speakers is going to be Ray McGovern, former CIA cat. And you listen to McGovern, you listen to McGregor and others, and Scott Ritter. Number of us are forecasting that Israel is going to go to war and the United States is going to go to war against Iran. Now, people have to get this in their heads straight. You don't have to be good at math to figure this out. There are 7 million people, Jewish people living in Israel, 91 million in Iran. 91 million versus 7 million. And Iran is very advanced scientifically, technologically, and militarily. There's no way, anyway, that they can defeat Iran. And you're even looking at a tiny little Houthis in Yemen. Well, a couple of days ago, they just hit another place, killed a bunch of people in Israel. This is a tiny little nothing of a place. Here's the thing. Again, what we're concerned about, and this is why I've launched Occupy Peace. Not my language, by the way. John F. Kennedy's speech to graduating students at American University in 1963. He said, if we go to war against the Soviet Union and we have an atomic war, life on Earth will be destroyed in 24 hours. And generations will be destroyed. That was 1963. It's way advanced now. Let's go back to Israel. Not my language. They have the Samson option, SAMSON. They say if they're losing, they're going nuclear. They have between 200 to 400 nuclear warheads. I'm very concerned about this. Netanyahu, is going to do everything he can to stay in power. And again, they're ramping up the war against Lebanon, violated the ceasefire agreement only about 100 times. They're ramping up the war against Syria. Again, put the language in there. The land that they've taken from Syria and where they are now, they're not going to leave. Syria, Lebanon, and next is Iran. There's no way that Israel could defeat Iran. America's going to get involved in this war. And the people will swallow the crap. They're going to have a false flag event, like a 9/11 type of thing, or a Pearl Harbor event. Before Pearl Harbor, by the way, 80% of the people in the United States did not want to get involved with the wars that were ramping up in Europe. They're going to have a false flag attack, and that's going to try to unite the people against war. That's our greatest concern. So Israel's going to do everything they can to keep escalating this war. The slaughter going on in front of everybody's eyes of the Palestinian people. Where is the outrage? Where is the outrage? Bombing it into ruins. Oh, again, not our language. We only put the facts in. According to the latest data, over 3,000 Palestinians were killed trying to get food over the last several months.
So, I mean, we've been predicting, a massive false flag attack likely. Yep. I mean, the reason they use them is because they work. Right? Yep. Whether it's Gulf of Tonkin or Remember the Maine to bring us into the Spanish-American War. And then of course, you have the collusion of the mainstream media in the same, working in tandem with them, right? William Randolph Hearst, Joseph Pulitzer, the newspapers of the Spanish-American War telling us to remember the Maine, go to war. Same with Pearl Harbor, same with the Gulf of Tonkin, the mainstream, same with the Iranian conflict now. The mainstream media is complicit in selling us and pushing this war agenda. I was on Tucker's show a few months ago talking about this, manufacturing consent for war. And you see it right away on Fox News and other places, manufacturing this consent for war. So the media will be complicit in this. But you believe we are heading for a massive conflict that's unavoidable in the Middle East. If
we the people don't stop it. Here, you talked about the Gulf of Tonkin. This was one of my best-selling books, Trends 2000. In this book, I wrote about how the Gulf of Tonkin was a total lie. Brought to you by a piece of scum that should rot in hell, Robert McNamara.
Right.
Total lie. And again, I'm Vietnam War era. And I'm going to make this 1,000% clear. When I was a young kid, I believed the crap that if we didn't stop those Vietnamese, those commies are going to take over Europe. And before you know it, those dominoes will keep falling on the shores of California. I believed it as a young kid. The only reason I tried to beat the draft, which I did, I didn't want to get my brains blown out. But I was stupid enough to believe it because of the propaganda. Here, my father's driving a car. I'm sitting in the back, and I started repeating what I heard on the TV news. He turns around. He said to me in Italian, "Papagallo, parrot. Stop repeating what everybody else is saying and think for yourself." The media is nothing more, as you well know, you've been on the other side, they're prostitutes. They're media whores that get paid to put out by the corporate pimps and government whoremasters.
Right.
One of my books is called What Zizzi, Z-I-Z-I, Gave Honey Boy. A true story about love, wisdom, and the soul of America. I got banned from everybody back in the I used to be on Oprah, the Today Show, Good Morning. I used to be on it all the time, everywhere, CNN 4 times a month. I came out, I said, we're not going to win the Afghan war. I said, if Alexander the Great couldn't pull it off, if the British at the height of the British Empire couldn't pull it off, if the Russians couldn't do it, and they're right next to it, what makes you think we're going to do it? Why, you anti-American? That is the mentality. The people have
a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we've got dot-com bubble 2.0. We've got further erosion of the U.S. dollar and the economy in the United States, people fleeing into gold and silver and tangible assets. We've got an inevitable war that's going to be coming to Iran. We will do the bidding of the Israelis, of course. What other big trends are you seeing over the next 4, maybe 6 months that we should talk about?
They're going to try to go digital. As we said, they're going to go from, get rid of this dirty cash and we're going to digital trash. And look again, we only go by the facts, put the quotes in there. Go back to what Trump said about Bitcoin and digital currencies a couple of years ago before he became president again. Called them trash, they're destroying the dollar. Hey, but now my kids are into the business. Oh, you got that guy, what, Lutnick, Witkoff, their kids are into the business too. The Commerce Secretary and the other guy. All right. They're going to go digital. They're going to make up some crap. You look at, there was an article that came out today. Let me see if I can find it over here about the, where was it? I don't have it here. Let me see. Global debt just came out. Hit a record. You ready? $333.7 trillion. All right? How are they going to pay off this debt? They're not. They're making up this crap. And again, when you look at the real, you could Google it up. Anybody could do it. When you look at America's real debt, no, it's not 37 trillion. It's more like over 100 trillion. When you put in Medicare, medical expenses, Social Security, on and on and on, when you put those other things that the government owns. They're going to come up with a digital coin and say this is worth much, much more than the dollar. And we just got rid of our debt crisis. Or they did it before, they'll do it again. Again, only by the facts. Gold. Hey, remember Trump was going to go into Fort Knox with Elon Musk back about in February? To find out how much gold was in Fort Knox? Oh, they don't talk about that anymore. And by the way,
total silence.
They know what's in there. They don't have to go there to see it. They know what's in there. So this is what they may make up. Let's go back to 1933. When the piece of crap that gave us World War II, Franklin Roosevelt, he made people turn in all their gold. My dad, may rest in peace, said to me, you know, your grandfather, he rest in peace, he was dating my mother, 1933. He's like, over your grandfather's house, and your grandfather's wrapping up all his gold coins. I said, Pop, what are you doing? And he said, your grandfather said, I'm a true American. The president wants our gold back. I'm giving it to the president. My father said, what are you, out of your mind? He said, your grandfather started cursing at me in Italian. He turned in all the gold. They turned in all the gold in 1933 for what? About $20 an ounce? And then what happened? 1934, the Gold Reserve Act, after they stole all the people's gold, oh, they raised the price 70% to 33 ounces, $33 an ounce. After stealing the people's gold, now that the government had it, they raised the price. This is what it's worth. Trump may do the same thing. He may say, we got all this gold, and this is how much it's really worth to get rid of the debt. They're going to do everything they can to get rid of this debt level. So it's either going to be CBDCs in America or the countries around the world, or propping up gold prices.
Yeah, with a U.S.-backed stable coin, a U.S. dollar-backed stable coin, and pull the rug out from people once everyone moves over to a U.S. digital dollar, and then we do the rug pull on them. But I think you're right about this, certainly on the gold front, and we'll see what happens with this U.S. stable coin, because they're terrified of Bitcoin. I mean, we know that they're scared of Bitcoin, and they don't want us using Bitcoin. They want us using a U.S. dollar-backed stable coin for sure. You just saw what happened to Europe.
Could you imagine the stupid word stable coin? I mean, Orwell could not have come up with a better name than that.
That's a great point. It is great. It's all propaganda, isn't it? It's like
total.
It's like when you vote for the Clean Air Act, which is the exact opposite of clean air. It's brilliant. It's brilliant marketing. Stable coin backed by the U.S. dollar, which is anything but stable. Gerald, so I'll have a link to the Trends Journal in our description box below. We'll put it up here on the screen if people want to sign up with our link. I think you guys have a discount as well if they use our link. I think redacted.inc/trends if they want to go over there. Again, it's when you compare it to like wasting money on the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, the Trends Journal is something I read every week. So I look forward to it when it drops in my inbox every week. And I should mention, when is the event? Go ahead, sir.
The event is a Saturday starting at 2 p.m. Go to occupypeace.com, occupypeace.com. And again, it's only when you subscribe with your link, it's like $2.50 a week, a couple of pennies a day. And it's over 200 pages on average. And you read what you want, from high-tech science, technocracy, geopolitics, economics, healthcare, on and on. Again, we're giving the people everything we can. And going back to the rally, we're doing here, you ready for this? 2 weeks ago, I took out the domain name, wethepeoplesparty.us. That should have been gone when the internet revolution began back in the 1990s.
Right.
Last week, I took out the domain name, wethepeoplesparty.world. People better get it in their mind that these little clown boys and girls that tell us what to do, once upon a time, they were called public servants. No. Now we're the servants. By the way, this is one of the T-shirts you could get when you go to trendsjournal.com, just to show you the way I feel.
Who the F are you to tell me what I can do?
And again,
I love it.
I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I worked on major political campaigns in Westchester County. I designed and instructed American politics and campaign technology. He taught at St. John's University. I had a photo of me and when I was with Ronald Reagan and put on a brunch for 16 of our board of directors. Been with Major, the president, the prime minister of the UK, the Prince of Norway, on and on. I've been on the other side. It's a crime syndicate that people call a government. It has to go back to we the people. End of story. It's up to we the people, not him. Here, don't forget. Wear this mask, all right? And stand 6 feet apart, because the wind blows exactly in straight lines every 6 feet. And don't forget, before you masturbate, you better sanitize your hands. Oh, this is from the New York Times. Yesterday, YouTube to reinstate accounts banned for misinformation. YouTube will create process to reinstate accounts of content creators whose profiles are banned in recent years because they violated rules that limited misinformation about COVID-19. Hey, wait a minute. Misinformation? I only write the facts, not misinformation. Oh, there's 74 million 1 to 17-year-olds in the United States. You can't go to school, get back in your house. How many died? From 2020 to 2023, July, they stopped counting the numbers. Under 2,000. You mean 2,000 out of 74 million? No, you can't say that. Oh,
Yeah.
World Health Organization, World Horror Organization, called it a pandemic, which everybody repeats, in March 11th, 2020, with a grand total of 4,219 people died out of 8 billion. Italy was the second country to lock down. Average age of the deaths, 81 years old. You're not allowed to say that. That's misinformation. That's the media.
Yep. And we were banned right here on Redacted for saying exactly that. We got blocked for weeks, 2 weeks, strike our channel for telling us this. I wonder if they'll give us retribution or reparations for all of that. Not going to happen.
I'm banned from Facebook and TikTok already.
Yeah, we got banned from TikTok a while ago, and then we just stopped fighting. They just kept banning us every week, so we just gave up. We're like, we're done with you guys. We're done. Gerald, great to see you, my friend. Again, we'll have links to, I think it's redacted.inc/trends. We'll have a link to that in the description box below. People sign up for that. Always like to check in and get a sense of where things are heading. AI bust coming, gold going higher, war inevitable, and of course, we're going to see what happens when we devalue the dollar further and move to an all cashless digital society, which they're already doing in Europe. They just froze 86 million bank accounts in Vietnam as they are moving towards a digital-only future. Gerald, great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being on the tip of the spear, as always.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate what you do, and it's an honor for me to be on with you, and what you and your wife do is spectacular. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gerald.